Imagine this. Every night, she's staring at her phone, scrolling through your old messages, replaying the sound of your voice in her head. But she stays silent. She watches your stories, wonders where you are, yet never reaches out. Why? And more importantly, what if I told you that her silence is your greatest opportunity to reclaim your power, to rise above the pain, and to build a life so extraordinary that she'll regret ever letting you go? Welcome to ZENLIGHT 8, where we don't just talk about moving on, we give you the tools to become unstoppable. Today, I'm going to walk you through a raw, honest journey of why she disappears, why her silence is a battlefield, and how you can master your emotions to win without saying a single word. Stick with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll have practical steps to transform your pain into power, rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and the art of self-improvement. This isn't just a video, it's a blueprint for a stronger you. Let's dive in. Picture a battlefield, not one of swords or shields, but one fought in the quiet corners of her mind. Every time she's alone, with nothing but the hum of her thoughts, a war begins. On one side, there's the pull of you. Every memory you created together. Every moment that still lingers like the scent of rain on a summer night. She remembers the way your laugh could light up her darkest days, how your late-night talks made her feel seen, truly seen, in a world that often looks right through her. She recalls the warmth of your presence, the way her heart raced when your name lit up, her phone, the comfort of knowing someone cared enough to fight for her soul, not just her surface. These aren't fleeting thoughts. They're anchors, heavy and unyielding, tying her to a version of herself she can't quite let go of. She scrolls through old photos, maybe one from that road trip where you both got lost but laughed it off under a starlit sky. She rereads your texts, those 2 a.m. confessions that felt like the world was just the two of you. She wonders where you are now, who's making you smile, if you ever think of her the way she thinks of you. That longing doesn't vanish. It's a fire that smolders, even when she tries to bury it. But on the other side of this battlefield stands a fortress, built brick by brick from fear and pride. Fear whispers that if she reaches out, you might not answer. Or worse, you'll respond with indifference, shattering the fragile hope she clings to. Fear tells her that vulnerability is weakness, that one text could unravel the armor she's spent months forging. What if you've moved on? What if you're standing next to someone new, someone who feels like home to you now? That thought alone is enough to freeze her fingers before they can type a single word. Then pride steps in, cold and unyielding, like a general commanding her to hold the line. Pride says, if he cared, he'd reach out first. Pride convinces her that silence is her power, that the one who moves first loses the game. It's not that she doesn't want you, it's that she's terrified of looking weak, of admitting she still carries you in her heart. Ego sharpens the blade, telling her she must be desired, not the one who begs. Every second she stays silent is a victory she claims over her own heart, even as it aches. She's caught in this invisible tug of war, torn between the warmth of what was and the fear of what might be. Some nights, she's so close to breaking, she types out a message, her thumb hovering over send, her heart screaming to let go of the walls she's built. But fear and pride are relentless, and they win, locking her heart away again. Now here's where the Stoics come in, and this is the first lesson you can apply today. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. You can't control her thoughts, her silence, or her choices, but you can control your response. The Stoics teach us that true strength lies in mastering your own actions, not chasing someone else's. When you don't reach out, when you don't chase, you shift the weight of this battlefield onto her. Your silence isn't just absence, it's a statement. It says, I value myself too much to beg for what walked away. Imagine this. You're a man standing tall, not texting, not checking her stories, not waiting for her name to light up. Your phone. You're out there hitting the gym, crushing it at work, building a life so full that her absence feels like a single raindrop in an ocean. That's power. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her silence expects you to break, to send that, "Hey, how's it going?" text that hands her the victory. But when you stay silent, you disrupt her story. Doubt creeps in. What if you're thriving? What if you're happier without her? That uncertainty becomes her burden, not yours. Let me give you a real-world example. A friend of mine, let's call him Jake, went through this. After his breakup, he was tempted to text his ex every day for weeks, but instead he took a Stoic approach. He focused on what he could control. He started running 5 miles every morning, poured his energy into a side hustle, and stopped checking her social media. 3 months later, she texted him, asking how he was, saying she missed their talks. Why? Because his silence forced her to face the void she left behind. He didn't respond, not out of spite, but because he was too busy building a life he loved. That's the kind of man you're becoming. Here's your action step for today. Write down one thing you're tempted to do to reach out to her. Text, call, check her Instagram. Then, instead of doing it, replace it with one action that builds you up. Go for a 3-mile run. Read a chapter of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Start that project you've been putting off. Every time you choose yourself over her, you're not just winning her battlefield. You're winning your own. You're not just surviving her silence, you're thriving in it. And that's the kind of strength that changes everything. Let's move on to why her silence is more than just a game. It's a strategy, and understanding it will give you the upper hand. Her silence isn't random. It's not a sign she's forgotten you or that she's moved on to some perfect new life. No, her silence is a deliberate move, a carefully crafted strategy designed to keep her in control while you're left wrestling with doubt. Think of it like a chess game. She's holding her pieces close, waiting for you to make the first move, to reveal your position, to show you're still invested. In her mind, silence is power. It's the upper hand in an emotional tug-of-war, where the one who cares less holds the rope. When she goes quiet, she's betting on your heart to betray you. She's counting on you to scroll through her old photos, to check her Instagram stories, to lie awake at night wondering what she's doing, who she's with, if she ever thinks of you. She knows that silence creates questions, and questions create chaos in the mind of the one who cares more. That's her leverage. By staying silent, she risks nothing. She doesn't have to face rejection. She doesn't have to admit she misses you. She just waits, confident that most men can't handle the weight of uncertainty. Most men, but not you. Let's break this down through a Stoic lens, because this is where you flip the game. The Stoics, like Epictetus, taught us that we suffer, not from events, but from our judgments about them. Her silence isn't the problem, it's how you interpret it. If you see it as rejection, you'll spiral into overthinking, maybe even send that impulsive text that says, "Hey, just checking in." But that text? It's not just words, it's surrender. It's handing her the confirmation that you're still tethered to her, that you're still waiting, that you're still hers to control. The moment you reach out, you answer every question she's been wrestling with. You tell her, without saying it, that you're still emotionally invested, that you're still affected, that you're still hers to pull back whenever she chooses, and she doesn't even need to reply with warmth. A cold, "Hey, good to hear from you," is enough, because the power isn't in her response, it's in knowing you broke first. Let's talk about a guy named Ryan, a real example from one of our ZENLIGHT 8 community members. After his girlfriend ghosted him, he spent weeks obsessing, checking her social media, drafting messages he never sent. But then he stumbled across Stoicism and decided to try something different. He deleted her number, unfollowed her on Instagram, and committed to 30 days of no contact. Instead of chasing her, he chased his own growth, lifting weights, reading philosophy, even starting a podcast. 2 months later, she reached out, saying she missed their connection. But by then, Ryan wasn't the same man. He'd built a life where her silence no longer defined him. That's the power of flipping the script. Her strategy works because most men crave certainty. They need to know where they stand, even if it means losing their dignity. But you're not most men. You're learning to embrace the uncertainty, to see her silence not as a weapon against you, but as a mirror reflecting her own fears. She's not silent because she's over you. She's silent because she's afraid of losing control, of looking weak, of admitting she still feels something. And the longer you stay silent, the more that fear grows. It's not about playing games. It's about living with purpose. Here's a practical step you can take today, rooted in Stoic wisdom. Create a no-contact contract with yourself. Write it down. For the next 30 days, I will not contact her, check her social media, or let her silence dictate my peace. Sign it. Put it somewhere you'll see it every day. Then, replace the urge to reach out with one action that moves you forward. Maybe it's signing up for a 10K run, taking an online course, or journaling about your goals. Every time you resist that urge, you're not just winning her game. You're building a fortress of self-control. You're becoming the kind of man who doesn't need her validation to feel whole. The Stoics remind us that the only true loss is losing yourself. Her silence is her strategy, but your silence is your strength. It's the quiet rebellion that says, I choose me. And that choice, my friend, is what makes you unstoppable. Next, we'll dive into the illusion she's trying to sell you, the perfect life she posts online, and why it's nothing more than a mask for the truth she's hiding. You see her posts, and it feels like a punch to the gut. She's smiling. In a beach selfie, the sun setting behind her, captioning it, "Living my best life." She's out with friends, laughing in a dimly lit bar, sharing quotes about strength and independence. It looks like she's moved on, like you're just a footnote in her story, a memory she's left behind without a second thought. But let me pull back the curtain. What you're seeing isn't the truth, it's a performance. People don't post their pain. They don't share the nights they cry themselves to sleep or the moments they stare at their phone, hoping for a sign you're still there. They post the version of themselves they want the world to believe, and she's no different. Behind every curated photo, every carefully worded caption, is a woman wrestling with the same doubts and regrets you are. She's not posting because she's healed. She's posting because she's hiding. The Stoics, like Seneca, remind us that appearances are deceptive. We are often more frightened than hurt, he wrote, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Her perfect Instagram life? It's imagination, not reality. That smile might hide a heart still aching for the connection you shared. Those posts about moving forward might be her way of convincing herself she's okay, when deep down, she's not. Every photo is a shield, every caption a piece of armor, designed to keep the world, and maybe even herself, from seeing the truth. She's not dancing in that club because she's forgotten you. She's there because the noise drowns out the silence that reminds her of you. She's not sharing that sunset because she's at peace. She's sharing it to fill a void that no amount of likes or comments can touch. Let's ground this in a real story. A guy in our ZENLIGHT 8 community, Alex, saw his ex posting about her new life, trips, parties, even a new guy and some photos. It crushed him, made him feel like he'd been replaced. But instead of texting her, he leaned into Stoicism. He started journaling every day, asking himself, what can I control? He realized he couldn't control her posts, but he could control his reaction. He stopped checking her social media and focused on himself, running 10 miles a week, learning guitar, building a side business. 6 months later, she messaged him, admitting she'd been struggling, that the perfect life was just a front. By then, Alex was too far into his own growth to care. That's the power of seeing through the illusion. Her posts aren't proof she's over you. They're proof she's trying to convince herself she is. And the longer you stay silent, the harder it is for her to keep up the act. When you don't like her posts, don't watch her stories. Don't give her the validation she's fishing for. You let the weight of her choices settle in. Doubt creeps into her mind. What if you're thriving? What if you've found someone who sees your worth? That uncertainty chips away at her armor, because no amount of filters can hide the truth when she's alone with her thoughts. Here's your practical step. Unfollow her on social media today. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Replace that habit with something that builds you up. Download a meditation app and spend 10 minutes a day reflecting on your goals. Or start a gratitude journal. Write down 3 things each day that make you proud to be you. This isn't about ignoring her, it's about choosing you. The Stoics teach us to focus on what's in our control, our thoughts, our actions, our growth. When you stop chasing her illusion, you start building your reality. And that reality? It's a life so full, so vibrant, that her posts will fade into the background, just like the noise she's using to drown out her truth. Up next, we'll talk about the moment you lose and why one small text can cost you everything. There's a moment that changes everything, a single choice that can unravel all the strength you've built. It's the moment you pick up your phone, type out a text, and hit send. It might seem harmless, a simple, "Hey, how's it going?" or a quick like on her latest post. You tell yourself it's just being friendly, just checking in, just keeping the door open. But in that moment, you lose. You lose because you've handed her the one thing she's been waiting for, proof that you're still hers to control. That single action, no matter how small, tells her you're still tethered to the past, still waiting for her to validate your worth. And in her mind, that's a victory she didn't even have to fight for. The Stoics, like Epictetus, teach us that true freedom comes from mastering our impulses. No man is free who is not master of himself, he said. When you reach out first, you're not just sending a text, you're surrendering your freedom. You're letting her silence win, confirming that you care more, that you're still caught in her orbit, that one message feeds her ego like gasoline on a fire. It tells her she still has power over you, that she can still pull you back with nothing more than a cold reply, or worse, no reply at all. Because the power isn't in her response, it's in knowing you broke first. Let's make this real with a story. A guy named Mike, part of our ZENLIGHT 8 community, went through this. After his breakup, he was doing well, hitting the gym, focusing on his career, staying silent. But one night, after a few beers, he saw her post a story laughing with friends. He sent a simple, "Looks like you're doing great." The next day, she replied with a curt, "Thanks." That was it. But that small exchange crushed him, because he realized he'd given her the upper hand. She knew he was still watching, still caring, still waiting. It set him back weeks, emotionally and mentally. That's the trap. Every text, every like, every comment is a signal that you're still emotionally available, still hoping for something she's not ready to give, and nothing kills attraction faster than predictability. Women don't miss men who are always there, always reachable, always waiting. They miss the men who disappear into their own purpose, who build lives so compelling that their absence leaves a void. Here's where Stoicism gives you an edge. It's about choosing discipline over desire. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads. One path is the urge to text her, to ease the ache of not knowing. The other is the harder path: silence, discipline, self-respect. The Stoics would tell you to take the harder path, because that's where growth lives. That's where you become a man who doesn't need her to feel whole. Your action step today is simple but powerful. Set a boundary. Commit to 60 days of no contact, not as a game, but as a promise to yourself. Write it in a journal. I choose my peace over her silence. Then, every time you feel the urge to reach out, redirect that energy. Go lift weights for 30 minutes. Call a friend and talk about your goals. Take a walk and listen to a podcast. That inspires you. Each time you resist, you're not just avoiding a loss, you're building a win. You're becoming a man who values himself too much to chase what walked away. Her silence is her strategy, but your silence is your rebellion. It's the quiet strength that says, "I'm not defined by your absence." And that strength, it's what makes you unforgettable. Let's move on to the power of emotional control and how mastering it can transform not just this moment, but your entire life. Power isn't about shouting the loudest or chasing the hardest. It's not about proving you're the strongest guy in the room or the one who can win her back with a grand gesture. True power is quiet. It's the ability to feel the storm of emotions inside you, the ache of missing her, the pull of old memories, the urge to pick up your phone and still choose to stand still. That's emotional control, and it's the cornerstone of a life built on Stoic principles. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, knew this better than anyone. You have power over your mind, not outside events, he wrote. Realize this, and you will find strength. Emotional control isn't just a skill, it's a shield. It's what separates the man who crumbles under heartbreak from the man who rises above it. It's what turns you from someone she can predict into someone she can't forget. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're sitting alone at night, your phone glowing in your hand. You're one tap away from texting her, from checking her story, from falling back into the cycle of hope and disappointment. The easy choice is to give in, to let that impulse win. But the powerful choice? It's to put the phone down, to breathe through the ache, to choose yourself over the temporary relief of reaching out. That moment of restraint is where you become more than just a man hurting. You become a man in control. Let's look at a real-world example. A member of our ZENLIGHT 8 community, David, was stuck after his breakup. He'd check his ex's social media daily, torturing himself with every post. But then he found Stoicism and decided to try something radical. He locked his phone in a drawer every night for a month. Instead of scrolling, he started reading Seneca, hitting the gym, and working on a side hustle that turned into a full-time business. 6 months later, he was 20 pounds leaner, financially independent, and happier than he'd ever been. When his ex reached out, he didn't feel the need to respond. Not because he was bitter, but because he'd built a life where her presence no longer defined him. That's the power of emotional control. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about directing them. It's about choosing to invest your energy in what builds you up, not what tears you down. Women don't lie awake thinking about the men who are always available, always texting, always waiting. They think about the men who disappear into their own greatness, who build lives so compelling that their absence feels like a shadow they can't escape. Here's how you start today. Create a daily ritual of discipline. Every morning, spend 5 minutes meditating on one question. What can I control today? Write down 3 things. Maybe it's hitting the gym for 45 minutes, finishing a work project, or calling a friend to catch up. Then, at the end of the day, reflect. Did I let her silence control me, or did I choose my own path? This isn't about ignoring your emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about building a life so full that her absence becomes just a whisper in the background. The Stoics teach us that the only thing we truly own is our choices. Every time you choose silence over chasing, discipline over impulse, you're not just winning her battlefield, you're building your own empire. You're becoming a man who doesn't need her to feel complete, because you've already completed yourself. And that's the kind of man who leaves a mark, not just on her, but on the world. Next, we'll talk about your new mindset, the final piece of this journey, and how it can transform you into the man you were always meant to be. This is where everything changes. This is where you stop being the man who waits, who hopes, who chases shadows of what was. This is where you decide to become the man you were always meant to be. Unshakable, unstoppable, whole. Your new mindset isn't just a shift in thinking. It's a revolution in how you live. It's a commitment to build a life so powerful, so vibrant, that her silence, her absence, her choices become irrelevant. The Stoics teach us that our greatest power lies in how we choose to see the world. There is only one way to happiness, Epictetus said, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Her silence, her posts, her life, those are beyond your control. But your response, your growth, your future, those are yours to shape. And today, you choose to shape them with purpose. Imagine this. You wake up each morning not wondering if she'll text, but excited about the life you're building. You're hitting the gym, sculpting, a body that radiates confidence. You're diving into your work, turning passion into progress. You're surrounding yourself with friends who lift you up, not memories that pull you down. That's not just a life. It's a legacy. It's the kind of existence that makes her silence feel like a distant echo, not a defining roar. Let's make this concrete with a story. A guy named Chris, part of our ZENLIGHT 8 community, was broken after his breakup. He spent months checking his ex's Instagram, replaying their last fight. wondering what he could have done differently. But then he stumbled across Stoicism and made a decision. He was done being a prisoner to the past. He set 3 goals: run a half marathon, double his income, and learn a new skill. He started small: 2-mile runs, a side hustle, and guitar lessons. A year later, he crossed the finish line of that 13.1-mile race, launched a successful freelance business, and played his first gig at a local bar. When his ex reached out, he didn't feel the old pull. He'd built a life too full to be shaken by her silence. That's the mindset you're adopting today. You're not here to chase what walked away. You're here to build what no one can take away. Your worth isn't tied to her validation. It's rooted in your actions, your discipline, your growth. Here's your action step. Create a 90-day plan. Write down 3 goals that excite you. 1 for your body, 1 for your mind, 1 for your soul. Maybe it's running 10 miles a week, reading a book on Stoicism, or volunteering at a local charity. Break each goal into daily steps. If it's running, start with 1 mile tomorrow. If it's reading, commit to 10 pages a night. If it's volunteering, sign up for 1 event this month. Track your progress in a journal, and every week ask yourself, am I becoming the man I'd admire? This isn't about proving anything. To her, it's about proving everything to yourself. The Stoics remind us that life rewards those who move forward, not those who stand still. Her silence isn't your rejection, it's your redirection. It's a sign to pour your energy into the only thing that matters, you. When you build a life so compelling that her absence feels like a footnote, you become the man she'll regret losing. Not because you chased her, but because you chose yourself. And that choice, my friend, is what makes you truly unstoppable. Let's wrap this up with a final call to carry this mindset into your life and beyond. You've just walked through a journey that's bigger than one woman, bigger than one heartbreak. This is about you, your power, your peace, your potential. The Stoics teach us that life isn't about what happens to us, but how we respond. Her silence, her absence, her choices, they're not your chains. They're your chance to rise. To build a life so extraordinary that no one's departure can dim your light. Here's your final action step for today. Take 1 small step toward the man you want to be. Maybe it's deleting her number from your phone. Maybe it's signing up for that 5K run you've been thinking about. Maybe it's writing down 1 thing you're grateful for right now, in this moment. Whatever it is, make it yours. Do it for the man you're becoming, not the man you were. This is your life, and you're writing the story from here on out. If this resonated with you, if you felt that spark of strength ignite inside, then join us at ZENLIGHT 8. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment below. Tell me 1 thing you're going to do today to choose yourself. Maybe it's, I'm starting that 30-day no-contact challenge, or I'm hitting the gym tomorrow. Your comment isn't just for me, it's for the brotherhood we're building, the thousands of men out there who are done chasing and ready to lead. Together we're creating a movement of unstoppable men who live with purpose, discipline, and peace. Let's keep this fire burning. I'll see you in the next video.